And away.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I think my audio is working well. Deb or Beth will let me know if it does not. And I just want to welcome everybody. And we're going to go ahead and, as you can see, the agenda is quite ambitious today. So we're going to go through some announcements. We're going to talk about PAL and LIT categories. There are some exciting trainings going on and are going to be available soon. One is the USCIS citizenship trainings, and we're going to talk about ADA webinars. There are some changes to the team's resource page at the TWC website that I want to show you. And we will have a content standards update with Beth Ponder. We will have some PD portal updates with Laura Greer in her office, and we will end with just talking about what's coming up with Tech and Tell. So here we go. Ready, set, go. And I need to have the presenter rights, Deb.
Sorry, Beth.
That's okay. Thank you. And right out of the gate, we are excited to announce that we are going to have an Adult Education and Literacy Day at the TWC Forum, and the date is set on April 4th, and the location will be Austin. And we do know some things now. That is, there's going to be, for the AEL Day, there's going to be 2 all-day sessions, and the topics, as we know them right now, are going to be talking about Teams 3.2 functionality and educational outcomes. And we're also going to have a career navigator meeting. So save the date and stay tuned for more information. Now we are also getting ready next week for our Technology and Distance Learning Symposium. This is the 3rd year. It is in San Antonio again this year, thanks to the Educational Service Center Region 20. Thank you so much to all of you at Region 20. It's going to be on February 16th, 2018, and again on a Friday. And we are very excited this time to be showcasing some very talented tech integration coaches that have been working with Dr. Glenda Rose for over the last year. Unbelievable talent that they will be sharing. And also, we have 2 national presenters that are going to be joining us. Susan Geer from California is coming. Greer, I mean, right, Deb?
Susan Geer.
Geer, excuse me. And then Priyanka Sharma from World Education will also be presenting. So again, it's going to be a packed full day, and some of us at Train PD will be presenting as well. And then we have the South by Southwest Conference in Austin on March 5th through the 8th. So those are coming up. Now, we want to save the date for what we know is going to be a date for the Literacy Texas 2018 conference in Waco this year. I believe it's going to be at the Hilton downtown in Waco, and that's going to be August 6th through the 8th. But we also have some wonderful Literacy Texas regional symposiums that are going on around this state, and they're on the screen here. Oh, and if we have some questions, I think we can get to those. And there's going to be several of them. We're going to have in East Texas, it will be Longview, and then Lubbock. There will be one in Lubbock, and Pearland, Texas for the Gulf Coast region. Far West will be El Paso, and then Central Texas will be represented by Austin. And do you have a question?
Yeah, Dale, I unmuted you. Did you have a question for Anne Marie?
I was just putting it up. The conference, the University Texas conference, is actually at Waco Convention Center. That's attached to the convention center, and I can't remember if it's a Hill. I was just looking for my information.
Okay, if you
Let me-
can you throw it in the chat pod
Let me
for
double
us?
check and I'll double check for that and I'll send it through the chat.
Great. Thank you, Dale.
And I have the link too that we can put up there to the actual conference, Dale, if you want me to. I can get it real quick, or I
Okay,
grab
that'd
it.
be great.
Okay, all right. Well, now that I said that, I can get it in a minute, or somebody can get it for me. We'll keep moving. But Dale, thank you. I know I saw Hilton somewhere. I just remember that I saw Hilton, so I apologize about that. All right, so we also have new Workforce Wednesdays that are coming up thanks to Dr. Olga Escamilla. And we have them set now all the way through to May. We have one coming up on February 21st, and always from 12:30 to 1:30. So we have February coming up, we have March, April, and May. And topics are going to range, rigorous topics. We have developing career ladders, Texas, employment barriers, and taking criticism and advice. So as usual, they will be available via registration in the PD portal, and Dr. Olga Escamilla will send out reminders on the listservs, and just remember registrations in the PD portal. So, thank you to Dr. Escamilla for those. And this is exciting. We will have something in the works. Major Mondays live webinars that are also going to be coming, just like Workforce Wednesdays and Tech and Tells. And this is going to be designed for managers to ask questions of seasoned program managers on topics of interest, such as contracts, funding, reports, ITs, MSGs, and program goals. And so we're stay tuned for the first Manager Monday announcement. And I know Tracy is on with us today. So Tracy, I wasn't sure if you wanted to add anything.
What doing, Enrique?
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Okay.
Great.
All right, thanks, Tracy. Thanks for that. And this is in conjunction, I know Tracy's been working really hard on this, so thank you so much. And moving on, we also have, which will be soon, is the Text Chase Crosswalk training. And this is a new training that is going to be available very, very soon. The TOT is happening is happening tomorrow on February 9th. And we're going to have a cadre of trainers, Train PD will have a cadre of trainers available to deliver this training. Now, the content developer for this training is Krista Mosier, and she's worked very hard on this training. And I believe there's 2 different versions, an hour and a half and then 3 hour, but the trainers will be able to deliver both. So this will be available very, very soon, so you can check with your field PD specialist for more information on that. So that's going to be available. And another TOT in the works, and this is going to be the Integrated Career Awareness Training of Trainers, or ICA. And the TOT event will be announced soon. And tentative date is April, but we're not sure when. And it will be 2 days. And this is drilling down to really looking at the contract requirement for aimed at building local capacity, help programs meet the career awareness contract requirement. And so this is going to be looking at helping programs meet this requirement. Again, Tracy, just jump in if I'm not hitting the points, okay? If you want to jump in, let me know. And so moving, lots of announcements, everybody. And we also have a Teams 3.2 virtual webinar coming up, another virtual webinar, but we not have any dates on that, so we want to stay tuned for information about that. Okay. Is available in instructor-led training is the strategic partnerships that build workforce collaborations. And this is a 6-hour training and it's designed to be a very involved training where all of the stakeholders come together. So it involves the workforce development boards, the COs, the TWC vocational rehabilitation programs, adult ed, and all of those partners coming together. And it's really designed for all of the partners to be present. So this is also available, so you can check with your field PD specialist, your trained PD specialist for that. And then this call, we need your help. And this was sent to us as a request from local PD coordinators from the field, and this is a local. We need examples of a adult education and literacy PD survey template. And so this particular program is asking if you have a PD survey that you would be willing to share to identify and prioritize your local training needs. So do you have any to share? If so, we're going to be creating a folder to put these PD surveys in the PD coordinators connect community. So if you want to share, there'll be a place to put the survey very soon. So if you can help out this person that asked this question, that would be much appreciated. Okay. So this is new, and I just spend a little bit of time on this slide. This is very exciting on many levels, and this is new. I did send this out on the Adult Education and Literacy listserv yesterday, and this is Power in Numbers. It's an initiative, and it is specifically looking at open educational resources, or known as OER. And what they're looking at is to have a cadre of adult math educators over a period of 2 months look at OER either already developed and out there, but this cadre of professionals is also going to be creating their own OER materials that will have a Creative Commons license. Now, there is an honorarium of $750 for this, and it's a 2-month period of time. So the timeline is quite aggressive, everybody, and you've got to, if you're interested, click on the link that's in the chat pod and look into it, because the application process is going on right now, and the experts are from around the world. One they may be familiar with is Dr. John Strucker, that was has been involved in many initiatives, but he's with World Ed. But we also have a researcher coming in from Israel that's going to be working on this project. So just heads up to that, and all the information is on that link. So I think it looks like it would be an excellent opportunity for Texas teams and other programs to be involved with. Okay. So
Anne-Marie, this is.
John.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, John. Hi.
I'm wondering if the P coordinators can push this out to the instructional coaches to make sure they get this information, because they did a lot of this during the gap analysis, identifying OERs to support the content standards. So there might be a lot of those who would be interested in this and who would be good at it.
That's cool. And I can send out the information on the listserv again too, but the link will get them there, John, to all of it. Thank you.
Yep, and have Beth send that out to the coaches.
Thank you, everybody. And I did want to point out that the Teal online courses are also still available. One is already done, but we've got one that is starting at the end of February, and then it drills down all the way through to July. And I want to thank John because this is also very, can be tied to implementing the content standards. A lot of these topics is very good information when you go into implementing the content standards. So universal design for learning is very important, but all these differentiated instructions. So know that these are still available and they're free and they're facilitated courses through links, facilitator, and the link is in the chat pod. So that. Okay, so tomorrow, or actually, excuse me, it was today, during lunch, we have the Genius Hour still going on for the PD portal, so know that that's always available. And Laura in our office always likes for you to send the questions ahead of time. So please join when you have a question, and it's a wonderful time to ask questions about the PD portal. All right. Okay, we have round the track one here. Does anybody have any questions, or can we keep going?
Rand, or put those questions in the chat pod.
Okay. Now, done with the announcements, and we're going to get into our updates now. So Deb is actually gonna talk about this slide right here.
So we had a question a few weeks ago from someone that on their teacher's certificate for a particular course, and I can't remember which one it was. Was it multi-level? I don't remember which it was. But we do have some courses that, with the classifications, we realized that the description of the course or the training event met both definitions of PAL or LIT. And so when you see a certificate that says PAL, this meets the PAL or LIT qualification, you can use that training for either meeting the PAL or LIT requirement for a teacher or someone else on your staff. We have those trainings in teams twice. One of them is marked as PAL, and one of them is marked as LIT. It's your decision, your program's decision, as to how you want to assign that to your staff, but are not allowed to split it. 6-hour training, we're not allowed to split it. You have to either take it, Ponder gets 6 hours of LIT, and Anne-Marie Molinari, also a teacher on my staff, needs PAL, so she's going to use that for her PAL requirement. So I just wanted to remind everyone that there are some trainings, not many, but there are some trainings in there that meet both of the definitions for PAL or LIT. It's up to the local program to determine how they want to identify that for each person in teams. And to bring up that something they aired at the TALE conference when we did our PD portal session is that we've added a report in your PD coordinator accounts in portal under custom reports for the PAL and LIT category. And the categories, if we make a change, we're only going to make the change like the last day of the school year. So the first day of the school year, you should print out that report again to give you an idea of what categories meet what courses. And we had some other slides we were going to talk about today, but we have so much going on that we're going to try and set a date to do a webinar for PD coordinators just on the reports. So keep that in mind that we're going to have that special topic coming up soon.
Thank you so much, Deb. Now, also, a very excellent training that's going on. Anson spoke a bit during the biweekly call with directors this morning, and this is the USCIS citizenship trainings, and this is creating and maintaining comprehensive adult citizenship education programs. Now we're going to put the link in the chat pod to this as well. All these links are taking you primarily to the TCAL website, but there's going to offer free seminars in 3 Texas cities. Now, we found out this morning that 2 are already full. So we're going to share which one's still open in a minute, which is Amarillo. And if you're interested, we can put this in the PD coordinators committee of practice in a special folder as well. But they are free seminars, but right now the only one that is open is March, and this is according to Dr. Glenda Rose, who is working closely with organizing these trainings, is that the first 2 are full, but Amarillo is still open. And topics are going to include the naturalization process, program structure, comprehensive citizenship education standards and curriculum, managing the multi-level classroom, and instructional strategies. So if you are interested in this for your teachers, I would look into it ASAP.
We have some questions in the chat pod, and Glenda, these are really addressed to you if you have the knowledge on this. We had some folks wondering if they were going to do any training in Houston, and I think they've done training in Houston, but I'm not sure. I'm going to let Glenda reply to that one. And then also will there be any additional trainings? Glenda, you've worked directly with these folks. Do you know of any additional trainings that they're scheduling? On mute. Laura, can you let her know she's...
Yeah, hold on. I'll give her my headset.
They were having some audio problems in the office earlier. They share an office. Apparently, PD Portal G Hour, they couldn't hear her, so...
Happens to all of us.
Did have another one. Will it be offered in Austin or possibly South Texas? So, see if we can get. She's been really hard with these folks, so we're excited.
Microphones. Yep.
There.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so she's changing microphones and trying to get it figured out and everything.
Well, if she could just get your headset and speak with your headset. We can keep.
Okay, hold on here.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so the answer in short is no, there are no other trainings scheduled at this point. Anson alluded to the fact that he might want me to try and convince them to come to another city since these only got full, they got over full. They were capped at 50, one of them had 70, the one that was capped at 70 has 90. So we're going to see if we can get them to another city, but I wouldn't count on it. If you can get to the Amarillo training, I would head that way.
We will send these chat messages to TWC though, guys. So I have them privately here, and I'll send them on. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Glenda. All right, so, and just to remind everyone before we leave this too, that there are flyers available that we can put in the PD coordinators community of practice. We're sent out on the listserv, but we can put them in there if you feel that would be helpful. Just let us know in the chat pod, and we'll make sure that happens as well. Right. So this next slide is near and dear to my heart, These are a series of webinars brought to us by the Southwest ADA Center. And the Southwest ADA Center is part of the National ADA Center Network. And their primary job is to provide non-jurisdictional technical assistance on everything Americans with Disabilities Act. And it's a wonderful center because it is technical assistance that can be confidential if needed. So who is joining us in March is the Director of Technical Assistance, Mr. Diego Maya, who actually does have his Juris Doctorate in anti-discriminatory law. And he's going to be doing a 3-part webinar series. And just step back just 1 minute. These webinars were child based on questions that we were getting from the field about specific topics. So we contacted Mr. DeMaya, and again, there's going to be 3 webinars. The first webinar is going to be March 7th from 2 to 3:30, and all 3 of these webinars are an hour and a half. But part 1 is going to be an introduction and an overview of what the ADA Act is, why it even pertains to adult education and literacy providers, which it does. So part 1's an overview, and then part 2 is going into reasonable accommodations and what's considered undue hardship for a program. And so that again is they're going to be always in the afternoon from 2 to 3:30. So that part 2 is going to be March 22nd, and then part 3 will be on March 29th. And this is a process of self-disclosure for students. If students do self-disclose, what is a program required to do? So all of these work together, and registration is available in the PD portal already. And I would really like to see even more registration. As Dr. Deb Hargrove mentioned this morning on the call with Anson, he was at Taylor and did a session, and we got some great questions. So I'm hoping that there will be even more questions, and the best part is he's available offline to answer confidential questions if you have a question or a director has a question. So I wanted to share that as well. So, and again, this is also available on the TCAL website, and you can download a 1-page information sheet that goes into a lot more detail. All right, so the next thing that is a hot ticket item is all of the work that has gone into the TWC resource page. And I think I can either share my screen. I'm going to share my screen here real quick, just show you where this is. So let me do this, and I'll share my screen. But everybody is familiar with the home screen of the site. But just real quickly, just to be sure, I'm going to share my screen. And you're looking at the TCAL website, and hopefully you can annotate, and it's going to be. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the TWC page right here. You want to do that, and then so I'm going to click on that, and then the next thing it's going to do is it's going to take me to the TWC page, and you've got this button right here, Teams Resources. And we're going to Resources, and I'm going to click on that, and then these are all of the resources that have been compiled by Anson's team, Malia, Kitty, everyone that has worked so hard on developing these resources. They're here for you. So I wanted to make sure that you are aware that this is there to use. Okay. Page just shows you again that there's an actual tab there for you, and the link is in the chat pod. All right, questions at this point?
We don't have Todd just yet.
All right, how are we doing on time? Okay.
We're at 2:30.
All right. Now, I'd like to give it to pass it over to my colleague Beth Ponder, who is spearheading this initiative and has worked very, very hard. So, Beth, take it away.
All right. Well, we had on February 3rd, we had our final face-to-face session. Oh, let me check. Can you hear me okay, Anne Marie?
Yes.
Okay. So at our last face-to-face training with our instructional coaches for the content standards rollout. If you want to go to the next slide. And so we was just kind of give you just a brief overview of what we did that day. We really did concentrate on talking through the gap analysis and some of the resources that programs are identifying to help fill those gaps. And we talked about giving effective feedback and coaching your teachers, and spent a lot of time there that I thought was just, the coaches just did a wonderful job. The things we talked about were kind of, as we're wrapping up the face-to-face trainings, what are our expectations for coaches moving forward. So we really want them to continue working on addressing gaps in curriculum. Eventually, we will have all of the curriculum gaps addressed and all our instruction standards-based. Want them to continue to coach individual teachers or groups of teachers. We want all teachers to feel comfortable with the standards and be able to base their lesson plans on standards. And what we've seen with these instructional coaches is them really stepping up to be the instructional leader in their program, and that's just been wonderful to see. So we want them to continue to build their role as the leader. So as PD coordinators, we kind of wanted you to know what their assignment was the last face-to-face training. And there's a Standards in Action document, which many of you are familiar with the Standards in Action project. They have a reading assignment before we meet again for our next webinar. And the coaches' next webinars will be March 1st or March 2nd. So added a second time for the webinars. We're repeating them, trying to get as many coaches involved as we can. And so just to give you, our PD coordinators, an idea of what they have coming up next and when those are. So webinars that we're doing for them, they'll be at 1 o'clock on a Thursday or 4 o'clock on Friday. Except I think there was one day in March we had to change it to a Wednesday. Another thing I want you to note here is that after each face-to-face training, we have to have a webinar for the directors so that the directors have an idea of what is the information that their coaches get that face-to-face training, and again, what do they have coming up. So we will continue to do that, and the next directors webinar is February 21st at 10:30 in the morning.
Thank you. And let's see if there's any questions before we move on here. Okay. Questions. What we have now is we do have some PD portal updates, and I know that Laura's on the phone. And Laura, what would be? I'm going to let Laura unmute and let her. Would you like me to pass the ball to you so you can share your screen and talk about this?
I think I will. I'll just talk. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'll just talk for a minute, and if people have questions, I'll share my screen if need be. But we're trying to move quickly today. So a couple of things that we talked about at our session at Taylor, or some feedback we got from program managers and coordinators, included not being able to see members of their team. So for instance, we had someone out of Harris County Department of Education who wants to be able to see just his team members. So not all of the Harris County ed folks, his 90 people. And so we don't know that unless you guys tell us that. And so if that's something that you're interested in, email me and we'll figure it out Deb are kind of trying to figure out on the back end how to get the PD portal to work with how some of your programs are working. They're not completely compatible. And then the second bullet there is we had a couple of folks who were not able to see the AEL grantee transcript report or the PD category report. And I know that Deb mentioned both of those earlier. So if you go look in your custom reports and you don't see those, let us know, and Deb or I will take care of it. And then the last thing we noticed, and we've gotten some emails from people in the last week or so, we think that Cornerstone did something that tweaked some of the permissions and settings that people have, and so we've been getting emails where people have said, well, I used to be able to see the person's profile, and now I can't. Again, Deb and I, we think we fixed that this morning, but if something you used to be able to do and you find that your settings have changed or your permissions have changed, again, shoot Deb or I an email and we'll get it taken care of. We know until y'all tell us. So you are always welcome to email pdportal@tamu.edu or lgreer@tamu.edu, and we'll get you taken care of.
And I'm just excited as anybody else when we figure something out. So when we did figure something out this morning, we're just high-fiving and jumping up and down. So we were just as excited as you are when we get something right.
And we get just as frustrated as you do when the PD portal does not cooperate. Unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Lucas. You may want to jump in on the next slide, but thank you. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on, this is also new, and again, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Olga Escamilla again, because this is a course that's very near and dear to her heart. She developed this course for the PD portal, and this is the Moving Beyond Barriers. This online course is now available in the PD portal, and she wanted me to mention that although the target audience is career navigators, it's important, and it can be important for instructors to zero in on potential challenges students are experiencing and then troubleshoot solutions. So although it's for career navigators, it's also a good course for instructors that are trying to help the students. That is available in the PD portal. And and this is, yes, this lady right here, who can guess who that is? I wonder. She's going to come up a lot here. Here she comes again.
So I have some great news that I literally, that's why I was typing fast. I have some great news to share that just came through my phone. We do have a date for the team's training with Maya. She has confirmed a date with me. Set on your calendar, March 12th at 11 a.m. It's, what day is it? It's either a Monday or a Thursday. Hold on, my computer's slow. It's a Monday. So March at 11 a.m. and just put that on calendars and we'll get that information out so you can start registering people. Thank you, John. Okay.
Okay, no. All right, so, and we're going to woo again here because I get excited, and I do at this point want to also say that there is a huge production team, not a huge production team, but a team that works very hard on that side of producing all of the live webinars. And Laura is very instrumental in this process. Once we get the webinars, we complete the live webinars. So they're working very, very hard on getting us up to date on all of the tech and tells that we've had over the last 6 months or so. We have some tech and tells that are going to be available soon, and one is hyperlinking with HyperDocs, Ashley Winkle in part 1 and part 2, and this is this has become somewhat of a phenomena on Links, because she has been featured on Links and HyperDocs, and she'll be presenting on HyperDocs at the DL Tech Symposium, and she also presented at Taylor. So that will be available soon. And then we also have We Are New York, with Dr. Haida Spruck-Ridley, which was a wonderful webinar that focused on how to use a very rich online video series titled We Are New York. And we also have Tiffany Lee presented on Google Classroom, and I'm excited that she's able to do that. And she was able to do that for us. They were great webinars. Part 1 and Part 2 are going to be available. So I want to say thank you to the post-production team that works hard. And with that, I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I know that Navarro is on the call today, and I would like to introduce that Christy Oliveira, is an ESL teacher with Navarro College, and she teaches ESL during the day. She also teaches ESL for adults at night. And this week, she will be presenting her very first Tech and Tells on video resources for ESL learners. She's extremely passionate about what she does, and she's very good. And so I'm so excited to have her presenting. And Part 1 is this week, and Part 2 is February 22nd and 23rd. And so way to go, Navarro, and she is very excited to be presenting. And in March, the first 2 weeks of March, we have Cynthia Peters from World Education presenting, and this is an opportunity. You want to mark your calendars for these, for all of the Tech and Tales. But the change agent is usually there's a fee behind accessing the Change Agent magazine, and Cynthia Peters is graciously allowing us access to the Career Pathways issue. But there's a catch. You have to come to the Part 1 and also attend the Part 2 to get all of the goodies. All right, and so she'll be talking about the Change Agent, and how to use the Career Pathways resources, which are videos and activities and worksheets and enrichment as well. So those are coming up. And then at the end of March, I am working on having more Texas talent present, hopefully from the Dallas Fort Worth area. So stay tuned for later in March for that. And any
Beth sitting here talking about all the different dates that we're sharing with folks today. I think what we're going to do is go ahead and email out this PowerPoint to all of you so you can, take another look at those dates, because we've shared a lot of information today. We're not even done yet, but we're almost done, but we've shared a lot of information, so we're going to go ahead and send this PowerPoint to you so you can grab those dates again. Put them on your calendar.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. And I think it just ended up this way. This meeting had a lot of information. So moving on, do we have questions?
Yes, I know Tech and Tells are available from anywhere, but just be mindful that some of us are on spring break during March. Yeah, that's true.
Actually, we thought about that. There is no Tech and Tell. Well, is there a Tech and Tell? I think we do not have a Tech and Tell the week of, at least for when Texas A&M has spring break.
Spring break, right.
And I can't think of those dates right now, but
it's the 11th through the 16th.
That's where we won't have any that week.
Right. Something to think about, Risa. That.
Okay. I was just reading the chat pod. I know I should not do that. Okay, so, well, we are at the end a little bit early, so I think
Wow.
at this point, if you want to back and look at anything, if people have questions, I wasn't sure how fast we would go today.
For any questions, you guys, go ahead and unmute yourself and to ask. I think their brain is hurt.
Okay.
They're in the chat pod.
The webinar, oh lordy, the team that are scheduled during your spring break. Okay. I'll have to see if she wants to do something different since it's spring break. I might have to do another one. Let me make a note of that, Debbie. Who was that, Debbie? Yeah, that's Victoria, right? You guys are Victoria? Okay. I will note of that. And Glenda, why don't you, while we do have a quick 5 minutes or so, why don't you do a sharing of the program for the TechEL Symposium? We're getting questions. Sorry.
And I wonder if Dale Pillow would like to talk about the Literacy Texas Symposiums. Is Paula to talk regional symposiums? Deb?
Yeah, I don't know. She has a microphone. Paula, do you have a microphone?
Microphone.
Okay.
I got the community microphone today.
Take a look at March again. Maybe we go to April.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the literacy symposiums, you were correct on all of them. I have heard that West Texas is looking at June 11th. That's the really update I have on that. Central Texas still does not date.
And then what types of because I know that there was a question. I'm sorry, Deb. I'm manning the chat pad.
That's okay.
I know there were questions in the chat pod about the content.
Yeah, can you expand on the Literacy Texas Conference and the proper attendees? And that would Dale question. Dale, if you can talk to the Literacy Conference and who should be attending.
Well, you know, we currently looking for presenters. The call for presentations will go out on Monday. And we do have a lot of content that goes for non-AEL or volunteer programs. We incorporate a lot of workshops that are actually for the EL programs too. Part of our goal at not only the symposiums but also the conference is to bring both of those entities together and hopefully we have some networking going on so that and AEL programs can get to know each other and hopefully begin working together. So they're doing the same thing. They're looking to PD and other individuals about doing the workshops there. Literacy Texas Conference, our goal is to have the schedule by early May. Open the registration so that people will be able to offerings are. We are moving the conference to Waco mainly because Embassy Suites is in the middle of a major station and it's just there. But with the area where we are will be an excellent location. And just a side note, it's like right from Magnolia. just in case it's interesting visiting there. I hope we will have more information. I will have information by early May that everyone can make an informed decision. I will acknowledge that we have had some fantastic works in the past, and so to do that so that people who are looking to be professional development for the next school year can see it if you need to. So
Terrific.
it'll excuse me, seriously,
Terrific. Thank you, Dale, very much. John had a question. The Manager Mondays and the Workforce Wednesdays, yes, we will have ongoing topics, just like the 10 tells. If any of you have a particular topic as a program director or a PD coordinator or a career pathway navigator that you would like to have us present on or look for a presenter on, please email us those topics and we'll direct it to the proper person, whether it's Robin and Tracy or if it's Dr. Escamilla. It's ongoing topics. Lots of what information are you requesting as far as presenters? I'm not sure, Shauna. We'll mute you. Claire asking there?
Yes, I was just wanting to know, now the presenters that Dale was speaking about, is it pertaining to the symposium or to the conference itself?
It's to the Texas Literacy Conference. When both we're talking about the literacy conference, the types of presenters and the topics that they're.
We're looking for all presenters. The call for presentation for Literacy Texas will be out on Monday. But if you have a symposium coming up in your area, certainly please check with the host organization or call Literacy Texas or shoot an email to Literacy Texas because we're also looking for presenters locally at the symposium.
Oh, and I had another question since I'm on unmute. I know with everyone stating the concern with their spring break, I just want to make sure that the virtual webinar will still occur March 12th, or is that up in the date, up in there because of the spring break concerns?
Well, I need to speak with Mahaya and get some more information from all of you first before we confirm that. I know that Mahaya is open to changing the date now. She's willing to work with us on that or just adding additional dates. So let me clarify that, and then I'll get some information back to you guys shortly.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And else? Lots of information today, guys. If there aren't any other questions, I just want to thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for presenting. We will be sending the PowerPoint out to you so you can get these dates on your calendars and share the information with other folks in your program. With that said, everybody have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks for being.